everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a nice day. Sorry about Sunday. The morning happened and I was like, oh, isn't today the day I normally stream? Oh, well. But here I am, made it through a work day. We're going to do 2 lessons today, and that'll get us through the Daedalus and Icarus story, and then we'll do 3 lessons, it looks like, next time. That'll get us through our next story. And so, yeah, trying to balance kind of 2 to 3 lessons each day. So it might not be a full hour, but it might be, if people are being ridiculous and hanging out. I am not sure if I'll keep Sunday or try to move it to a different time, because it does seem like I wake up on Sunday and not feel like streaming first thing in the morning. And once masses reopen, well, who knows what'll happen. So we'll see. We'll see about finding an alternate time that might work over the weekend. But it's hard. It's hard to find a good time on your day off that you want to do something instead of nothing, which is what I usually like doing. But once I get through this textbook, then we can... Oh, look at that! Thank you, Max! Aw, tier 2 for 16 months. That's like way too sweet. And also Mr. Bushido. Welcome. So who knows? Maybe I'll talk to Punch and see what my streaming day should be. If not Sunday morning. So, we'll see. You can't read. Good. I'm okay. I'm getting through the day. So far, the week has been tolerable. So, alright. But we got a lot of random things to go over today. We've really covered a lot of ground. I think there's only maybe like 20 sections left or so. 2025. So, we are making some progress. So we have recently gone through the 3rd declension, the I declension or the stem declension. We've gone through the U declension, which is the 4th declension. We've done 3rd declension adjectives. So they're adjectives, but they have endings that look like the 3rd declension. And it's only those 2 types of adjectives. So we've done all the adjectives, which is exciting. You can cross that one off the books, except for regular ones. Today we're going to cover a lot of odds and ends, including the 5th declension and the Ablative of Time. Next time we'll do a lot of random pronouns and demonstratives. So that's always cool, too. Alright. So, the 5th declension, or E declension, not a declension that has a ton of words in it, but there are 2 very important words that are in it, which are used as our example here. Dies, meaning day, masculine, and race, feminine, thing. So, those are really important words. They get used a lot. So, nouns of the 5th declension are all feminine, except for dies, day, and married dies, midday, which are masculine, usually. There's a little asterisk. If you're talking about like a festival day, it becomes feminine. But normally, the day is masculine, everything else is feminine. Race is the most important word. Usually, exactly. It changes sometimes. Right? Every so often you'll find something that's always a certain way. And generally, nouns only have one gender. unless there's something like citizen, which could be masculine or feminine depending upon the individual, but that's obviously a different sort of thing. But dies is one of those weird words. Why is dia el dia? Exactly. Day is usually masculine, so that carried over into Spanish, even though dia sounds like it should be feminine. Oh, and cool. Hello. Welcome, Dad. All right. So the endings of the fifth declension, being the E declension, they have that E going all throughout, and then an S in the nominative, an I in the genitive and the dative, M in the accusative, which we see before, the vowel itself in the ablative, pretty common, nominative and accusative plural, ES, yeah, we've seen that, genitive plural, ERUM, very similar to first and second, orum or arum, just erum, and dative and ablative plural, ebus with an E, again, very similar to third and fourth declension, ebus or ubus. To remember this one, I actually just remember race, the word itself, meaning thing. A feminine word that means thing, go figure. Race, ray, ray, rem, ray. Race, ray, rem, rebus, race, rebus. Because all you have to do is get rid of the R, and then you get the endings. Pretty easy. Race is where, well, it's not where we get, but the word republic comes from res publica, the public thing. That's the most famous thing, probably in English, that gets carried over. Okay, let's see what else we have to learn here. The vowel E, which appears in every form, is usually long, shortened after, shortened in the genitive and dative singular after a consonant, and before M in the accusative singular. Only dies, day, and race, thing are complete in the plural. Most other nouns are only in the singular. So acies, which is a line of battle. So particularly, like, think of like a row of soldiers. That'd be the acies, which is related to the word for sharp or keen. So makes sense. And space, hope, another important word, but less important than race and dies. All right, the ablative, which is expressed by the preposition at, in, or on, may not only refer to place but also to time. Oh, we're skipping subjects. It's like, what does this have to do with the fifth declension? All right, now we're switching to the ablative of time. So previously we talked about spatial constructions. So if you're moving towards something, that's the accusative. If you're in a place, that's the ablative. And as we know, there is a relationship between space and time. And so the ablative, that represents in a physical location, also is used to represent in a particular moment of time, because they're the same thing. So generally that's without a preposition, but it can be. The ablative which is used to express this relation is called the ablative of time. So the time when or within which anything happens is expressed by the ablative without a preposition. In English, we usually use when, or on, or in. So if we wanted to say within 3 years, we would just use the ablative 3 years, no preposition. Time is space. Space is time. Space is money. No wonder Elon Musk is rich. Anyway. So let's read about Galba the farmer. And then I think we continue Daedalus and Icarus. So we got 2 little stories here, and then we will start working on pronouns. But next time we will finish a large chunk about pronouns. So, Galba the farmer. Galba agricola ruri vivit. Quotidie prima luce, made that super Italian, luce, laborare incipit, nec ante noctem in studio suo cessat. Meridie Julia filia eum ad cenam rocat. Nocte pedes defessos domum vertit. Aestate filii agricolae auxilium patri dant. Hieme agricola eos in ludum mitet. Ibi magister pueris multas fabulas de rebus gestis Caesaris narrat. Aestati filii agricolae perpetuis laboribus execenter, nec grave agri opus est iis molestum. Galba sine ulla cura vivit, nec res adversas timet. The end. So I almost like made up his name by combining Galba and Agricola somehow. Agricola. Galba, we were week see. Galba lives in the countryside, ruri, ablative of place where, but it's technically the locative here. As a farmer, Agricola. Every day, at first light, he begins to work, and he does not end before night in his labor. At the midday, his daughter Julia calls him to lunch. At night, he turns his tired feet to home. So to home doesn't have a preposition because the word house doesn't take a preposition when doing the accusative of place to which. All right. In the summer, aestate, the sons of the farmer give help to their father. In the winter, hieme, the farmer sends them to school. There, the teacher tells to the boys many stories about the things done of Caesar. We would say the things done by Caesar, the things of Caesar that were done. Orebus gestis can also be translated as history. So depending on how much into the future this farmer is living, you might be able to say the teacher tells about the history of Caesar. So different ways of translating. In the summer, estate, the sons of the farmer spend perpetual labors, kind of are exercised, are worn out by perpetual labors. And it is not nec a serious labor, grave opus, or nor is the heavy labor of the field, grave opus agri, bothersome to them, molestum eiis. Galba lives without any care, and nor does he fear adverse things, res adversas. The end. It's great to be a farmer. The Romans really idealized farmers and the farming livelihood, because that's how Rome was built. Okay, it's very easy. And what about Daedalus and Icarus? Last time we heard about Daedalus living in Crete, but wanting to leave, but the king Minos would not let him. So, tum Daedalus gravibus curis commotus, filio suo Icaro ita dixit. Animus meus Icare, es plenus tristitiae, nec oculi lacrimis egent. Discedere ex Creta. Athenas properare maxime studio, sed rex recusat audire verba mea, et omnem reditus spem eripit. Sed numquam rebus adversis vincar, terra et mare sunt inimica, sed aliam fugae viam reperiam. Tum in artis ignotas animum dimitit, et miram capit consilium. Nam penas in ordine ponet, et veras alath facit. Can't argue with that. I mean, Australia's economy was built on the back of sheep, as were many countries. So, then Daedalus, moved commodious by heavy cares, said to his son Icarus thus the following, Ita, my soul, O Icarus, is full of sorrow, nor do my eyes lack tears. So the verb egent takes a actually an ablative object, to be free from. So my eyes are not free from tears, but we can also say lack tears. He's crying a lot. So I greatly desire, Maxime Studio, to leave from Crete and to hasten to Athens. So ex Creta, the ablative of place from which, Athenas, accusative of place to which, without a preposition, because it is the name of a city, town, or small island. Crete, being a large island, takes a preposition. Said Rex, but the king refuses to hear my words, and he has taken away every hope, omnem spem, of return. Reditus. Are you sad for Daedalus, Mr. Bushido? But never will I be conquered by adverse things. The earth and the sea are hateful, but I will find, reperiam, another way of flight. Flight in this sense being escape, fuga, fugitive. Not literal flight, even though that is in fact what Daedalus does. Terra et mare sunt inimica. That's a little bit interesting, saying that they are enemy things, hostile things. So inimica is a neuter plural here. Terra, a feminine singular, mare, a neuter singular. But Daedalus just takes them both together as a neuter plural, meaning hateful things to me. Hey, the earth and sea aren't actually hateful. Well, okay, they might be hateful here, but not in Rome. How about enemies? The earth and sea are enemies to him. That's right. I'm sure they're very pleasant to look at, but they won't let him pass without a boat. And the earth won't get him very far because he lives on an island. So, they're not helpful. So then, Tomb, he sends his soul, his attention, into unknown arts, artis ignotas, and he seizes a miraculous plan, miram consilium, for he puts feathers in order, and he makes true wings. So now he is making actual flight. I think you all know where this is going to go, but we have to read one more chapter together to figure it out. So what we're going to do is start our section on pronouns. We've actually already done some pronouns, but we'll be learning more over the next few sections. So we'll do one today and then at least 3 more next time. I'm not sure if there are more after that or not. But so, pronouns. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that stands in the place of another noun. We have the same kinds of pronouns in Latin as in English. So apparently there's 8 groups of pronouns, which sounds like a lot. Personal pronouns. a word that stands in the place of a noun referring to a person. I, you, he, she, it, they. Okay. Possessive pronouns. Mine, yours, his own. Reflexive pronouns. Okay, this is where we start getting more complicated. A reflexive pronoun is when the subject and the object, either indirect or direct, is the same person. So he saw himself in a mirror. For example, I write myself a check. I don't know why I would do that, but those are the words that came to mind. Right, when the subject and the object are the same person. Otherwise, you would just use the personal pronouns. He saw his cat. Okay, cat's not a pronoun. He saw her in the mirror. That's just a regular pronoun. Intensive pronouns. These are words that emphasize another noun. I myself saw it. Right? So think of the difference between reflexive and intensive. I saw myself, or I myself saw something. I saw myself says that the object and the subject are the same. I myself saw it is just putting emphasis on whoever. And that's the intensive pronoun. Demonstrative pronouns. Demonstratives point. Demonstravit. From monstro monstrare, to indicate, to point. So demonstrative pronouns are the pronouns that point. That. I saw that. This. Those. These. That over there. There's generally 3 levels of demonstrative pronouns. This, that, and that way over there. Relative pronouns, which I think we've already talked about. And they set up a relative clause, which provides more information about a noun, but the word that introduces it is a pronoun, because it replaces the noun. It connects a subordinate adjective clause with its antecedent. I, who am streaming, am tired. Okay, who am streaming is the relative clause, who referring back to I, meaning clause. Interrogative pronouns, which we've also done, ask questions. Who saw that? It's a pronoun replacing a noun, but it's also asking a question. And there are indefinite pronouns. Some, any, certain. Something, anything, certain things. So again, replacing a more specific noun and is in fact somewhat indefinite. Fudgy? Okay. So we have already learned the demonstrative pronoun is a id, which is used as the personal pronoun he, she, it. It's a very weak this. So often it is translated as he, she, it, they. The personal pronouns for the first and second person are as declined here. Pronouns have to change their case depending on what they're doing in the sentence. Ego me, mihi, me for first singular. Nos nostrum nobis, nos nobis for first plural. Tu tui tibi tete for the second person. Vos vestrum vobis, vos vobis. You'll notice that there's an alternate genitive plural. I'm not I'm not going to make you stress out about the difference. But the plural genitive, nostrum or nostri, westrum or westri, are used for different types of genitive. Because there is a big difference between saying there is a statue of us versus there is a sacrifice of us. So that second one, ideally, it's our sacrifice to God, let's say. And hopefully we're not being sacrificed. Whereas it would be great if there were a statue of us. Although it could also be a statue we donate, our statue to, the veterans, whatever, that we put up on behalf of somebody else. That's the difference between the two types of genitive. They're just used for different things. If you want to say some of us, you use the nostrum and not the nostri. I'm not going to stress out, but just there's a difference. I can be a statue. People talk about the Roswell statue whenever I go idle. I believe it. You will notice here similarities with the other declensions. So that long I in the genitive, the long E in the ablative, the bis, kind of like bus in the dative and ablative plural, the os in the nominative accusative plural. So there's some similarities between the regular declensions. As the note says, the personal pronouns are not used in the nominative except for emphasis. Because the Latin verb contains the information on who the subject is, it's considered repetitive to have ego dico, I say. But if you want to, my cat just decided to attack my leg. We're fine. But if you really wanted to emphasize that I was saying it, you could say ego dico. Just wouldn't need to. The cat really wants my attention right now. All right. Hi, buddy. So for reflexive pronouns, if you remember, reflexive pronouns are when the subject and the object are the same. I see myself. He sees himself. Ow! Sorry, the cat was playing with me while I was trying to do other things. So, it's okay. I didn't assault the cat assaulted me. So, because the reflexive pronoun is just for when the subject and the object are the same person, Latin handily uses the same pronouns for reflexive. So you just need to pay attention to who the object is. So if you say video me, I see myself. Vides te, you see yourself. You could say you see you, or I see me. We see us. But that's just not good English. Dark. Hi. Also. Yeah, I need to actually like cut his claws a little, do a little snip on the end every so often. Because he likes to play. All right. That seems super loud. All right. That's true for first and second person. But for the third person, they do have their own set of reflexive pronouns, which is really great because then you avoid the English confusion of he saw him Who is he? Who is the other he? Are they the same person? You can more easily differentiate if they're talking about the same person or somebody else. You do you is common. That's true. You're not wrong there. So the third person reflexive pronoun is sui sibi seise. So it follows the same pattern of the me, mihi, me, me, and tui tibi tete for the first and second singular. The third person is used for both singular and plural. They don't differentiate. He sees himself and they see themselves. They use the same pronoun for that because the subject tells you if this is a singular person or a plural person. It also tells you if it's a feminine person or a masculine person. You don't need Latin to spell it out in the pronoun, it spells it out in the antecedent. The form se is sometimes doubled se for emphasis. All right. Cum means with. So if you want to do something with a person, it is cum that person. For whatever reason, for the personal pronouns, the cum attaches to the end of the word. So instead of cum me, it's me cum. Instead of cum te, it's te cum. Again, in the Latin Mass, we know pax vobiscum, peace be with you. The cum attaches to the end of vobis. This is actually also seen in the Spanish derivative, conmigo, if you want to do something with me. The Spanish has the con in the beginning, but then it also has the me, and then the go again, which actually derives from the original cum. So in Latin, if we were to translate that back into Latin, it would say cum me cum, and then becomes conmigo. Alright, cool. So let's see what happens with Daedalus and Icarus, and that will do us for the day. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Puer Icarus una stabat, et mira patris opus videbat. Postquam manus ultima alis imposita est, or impositest, if you want to be particular. Daedalus eas temptavit, et similis avi in auras volavit. Tum alas humeris fili adligavit, someone wrote notes, so it's hard for me to read there. Et docuit eam volare et dixit, te veto, mi fili, ad propinquare aut soli aut mari. Si fluctibus ad propinquaris, aqua alis tuis nocebit, et si soli ad propinquaris, ignis eas cremabit. Uh-oh. Tum pater et filius iter difficile incipiunt. Alas movent, et aurae sese committent. Sed stultus puer verbis patris non paret, always. Soli ad propinquat, alae cremantur, et Icarus in mare decidit, et vitam amitit. Daedalus autem sine ulo periculo transfluctus ad insam Siciliam volavit. What do you say there? The story ends with their overwhelming victory. They're going to be fine. Pretty much, Ross. Alright. So, the boy Icarus was standing in the same place, withal, in the same area. And he was watching the miraculous work of his father. Afterwards, or after the last hand had been placed on the wings, so kind of the final touch, Daedalus tested them and flew in the breezes, technically, in auras, just like a bird, similis avi. Then he bound the wings on the shoulders of his son, Humeris Fili, and he taught him to fly. Easy peasy. Hello. And he said, I demand you not. I veto you, te veto, my son, Ifili, to fly too close either to the sun or to the sea. If you will have neared the waves, the water will injure your wings. So again, nokeo is a verb that takes a dative object, alis tuis here being dative. And if you are too close, as it says there, future perfect, translate perfect by present, if you will have neared to the sun, if you are near to the sun, fire, ignis, will melt them, the wings. Then, tum, father and son began their difficult journey, iter difficile. Veto? I veto it. They move their wings. Good, that's what we want. And they commit themselves, send themselves out to the breeze. Dative here, sending themselves to. Say our nice reflexive pronoun. But the foolish boy, stultus, fool, dummy, he did not obey the words of his father. Of course not. Pareo, again, a verb that takes a dative object. To be obedient to. He got close to the sun. Whoops. His wings are burned. Again, we're kind of moving into this historical present. So the verbs are in a present tense to make it more vivid. And Icarus falls into the sea, descends, falls down, and he loses his life. Amito. Daedalus, however, without any danger, easy for him, he flies, volawit, across the waters to the island Sicily. So that's actually where Daedalus hangs out for the rest of his life, I think. I'm trying to think if after he's been in Sicily for a while, other bad things happen. But he might be able to just hang out in Sicily for the rest of his life. Can't quite remember. I think someone, King Minos tries to get him back. He sails over to Sicily to force him to come back to Crete. But I don't think he gets Daedalus back. I think King Minos dies, if I recall correctly. But well, thanks. I like being on Twitch teaching Latin. I do think we need more educational stuff on here, which sounds really lame when I say it like that. But it's such a useful platform, and now everybody wants to do everything online. So why not do this, right? It's useful information to be out there. So, I am a nerd. Trying to teach yourself Latin, and it's so hard without a teacher. Absolutely. Mostly, it's hard for the discipline, A, and B, when you do get caught on a certain idea, it's what do? You can only read so many explanations. So definitely, swing by. Yeah, you can grab one of those textbooks from TextKit. I think I might have accidentally skipped one or two, but the uploads on the channel have the backlog of this. And so definitely swing by with questions that you have, or you can comment on the YouTube channel, the videos there, and I'll, get back if you're stuck on something. So whatever I can do. I love Latin. Again, nerd. I really am. So we'll continue. I'll still tentatively plan to do another one Sunday morning to talk more about pronouns. Um, since you're trying to teach yourself Damo, um, the downside to doing it on stream is you don't quite have that accountability to do the work. But it's a start, and we can get the concepts across. But yeah, if you need kind of help brainstorming ways to, get in some practice, there are definitely resources out there. So, let us know how we can help, whether you need help accountability or with concepts or whatever. I don't know if it's been mentioned. Yep. Yeah, you did try, Max. Thank you. I don't know if I have a command for that or not, but I think it is somewhere in the info for the channel. There's a link for my YouTube, maybe. It might be super outdated. I'm a really bad streamer, but whatever. Here it is. Oh, thanks for getting the link there, Max. I can set up a YouTube command. That's easy enough. That would probably not be a bad idea. I don't think I do. So, yeah. So everybody contemplate the Trials of Icarus, which is probably one of the more common or more famous myths. Icarus flying too close to the sun has remained very popular as a lesson to this day. So, fifth declension, ablative of time, pronouns, personal pronouns, and reflexive pronouns. Those are what we went through today very, very quickly. Next time we will discuss other types of pronouns and read about, what are you reading about next time? Horatius holding the bridge. So that'll be a fun one. So we'll do these next 3 chapters about Horatius, one of the great Roman heroes of the Republic. So have a good day, everybody, and take care.